Guys, today I'm just going to talk about white ink. In the past, myself and probably most tattoo artists have been asked to do a pure white ink tattoo. I actually don't do them anymore because the client is always disappointed with the result. You will notice if you've ever had a white ink tattoo or you're thinking of getting one, once the tattoo is healed, it kind of usually turns yellow. And there's a really simple reason for this, and it's nothing to do with the ink itself. White ink is made of titanium dioxide. It's present in pretty much most tattoo ink colours. It's present in cosmetic tattoo pigment as well. Titanium dioxide itself is a very stable kind of chemical compound. It is a metal, but it's very, very stable. It doesn't corrode in the body. It doesn't react to bodily fluids. That's why we use it for body piercing as well. The only difference with white generally is the molecule size is slightly larger than normal tattoo pigment, or other colours anyway, and this can make it quite hard to remove with a laser. If you imagine when you get tattooed, regardless of what procedure you're having, whether it's camouflage, traditional tattooing, makeup, we implant a pigment. If you imagine a pigment as being like a ball of colour, that gets implanted into the dermis. Now, tattoo ink is designed very specifically for that ball of colour to be the exact right size to just happily sit in the skin. It doesn't get absorbed by the body, it doesn't work its way out, it just sits there. Certain pigments, like molecules, depending on what colour you're using, are slightly bigger than others. Titanium dioxide is quite a big molecule, so if you imagine getting laser removal, when you get laser removal, what happens is the laser blasts the tattoo pigment into smaller pieces that can then be carried away by your lymphatic system. That's why when you get laser removal, it generally fades gradually. It's not like an instant kind of removal. So if you've got a larger molecule, that laser will break it into smaller pieces, but they still won't quite be small enough for the body to remove. So that's why white especially is quite difficult to remove with laser. The reason that white ink tends to turn yellow is nothing to do with the makeup of the pigment itself. I heard someone say that it rusts. Like it doesn't, we wouldn't use it if it was going to cause any problems. Like all the inks we use now are so strictly regulated. All of the metals that are in tattoo inks, which unfortunately we can't get the colours that we need without using some forms of metal. They're not heavy metals, they're not going to react to the body, they're very stable, and we have to make sure that that's the case. I've been tattooing for 11 years. I myself have had an allergic reaction to red, but that's the only problem I've ever seen anyone have with tattoo ink. So I'm just going to show you a quick example of why white often turns yellow. So I've got my iPad here. It's probably not the best example in the world, and I've got a skin tone as the background, and I've put a white design on top. So obviously when your tattoo is first done, it looks really bright, it looks white, it looks really, really crisp, it looks great. And then over the course of a month or so, as your tattoo is healing, your top layer of skin will grow over the top. So then you end up with this kind of dulled effect, and it will take on whatever tones are in the skin tone. So if you've got more yellowy skin like me, it will turn yellow. So I don't know if you can see, like it's duller, but it's just because you've got, like if I take the top layer off again, that kind of layer of skin growing over the top. White works really well on really fair people that don't have a lot of pigment in their skin, you know, but I mean, I myself, I've got quite yellow tones in my skin, and my tattoos, regardless of when they are done, they look old after about a month, just because the tone of my skin is dulling down the pigment. So that's why white often turns yellow. It's not because of the ink we're using, it's just because the colour's under the skin. So standalone white tattoos don't look amazing when they're completely healed. White is brilliant for highlights. So pupil of an eye is obviously black. If you then put a white dot in, because you've got the black surrounding the white, it's going to make the white stand out more, and it will look more white than standalone white. So I don't want people panicking about the white in their tattoos, thinking it's going to hurt them, or, you know, I saw a video of a lady talking about getting camouflage tattooing, and she was put off because white turned yellow, and she said in her video that got a lot of views, which worried me, that titanium dioxide rusts in the skin. It doesn't. Like, it's completely stable, it's fine. It's so rare to get a reaction from any tattoo ink, really. And furthermore, like when it comes to camouflage tattooing, like we do use a lot of white in skin tones, but if you are an experienced practitioner who knows what they're doing with camouflage, what we actually do is take your skin tone into consideration when we are mixing up the colour to fill in a scar or a stretch mark. So if you've got yellow tones in your skin, we will be aware of that, and we will not put yellow into the skin tone because we know that your skin tone is going to add yellow into it. So I've seen a few pictures of kind of especially under eye camouflage, which I personally wouldn't get done. And I have like the worst dark circles under my eyes. I used to get called Skelly at school. I literally look like a panda in the morning. But I'm just, anything near the eye kind of scares me a bit. But I have seen healed pictures of that where it just looks like yellow here, and it's basically because the practitioner doesn't know how to match skin tones properly. It's not because it can't work for people. I don't want people to be put off medical tattooing or you know, camouflage tattooing if, you know, it's really going to help you with your confidence, just for the sake of a few people not being able to do it properly, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I hope that helps, and if anyone has any questions, just let me know. Thanks, bye.